record. Okay, so a lot of us are entering this big month. I love that today is the first and it's a Monday and we're starting Team Cup. And whether you're participating in Team Cup or not, I think that taking this approach to our business really is where we're going to be able to see long-term success. We really want to treat this business like a marathon and not a sprint. This is not one of those things where you can be like, if I just put my head down and work really hard for like one week, 1 month, like I can do this, I will see massive results. You will not. You will burn out. You will go, what on earth was I thinking? And you might stop and put your hands on your knees and catch your breath and get going again. But that stop and start all the time is what sets us up for failure. So I really wanted to touch tonight, not just for Team Cup, but especially for new coaches and just anybody anywhere in their business. I think that this can be pretty universally applied, but especially for those participating in Team Cup, because burnout after Team Cup is so common. It's common enough that people plan for it. They plan a post-Team Cup vacation because they go so balls to the wall. So I'm hoping tonight we can kind of set a pace for you guys that feels maintainable, even when shit hits the fan. Something that is middle ground so that even when you do experience the lows, you're not going from up here to down here. You're like here, and you might go to here instead because everything's manageable. So the biggest piece with this is starting with the end in mind. Like I said, whether you're doing Team Cup this month or you're just getting started or whatever it is, you need to stop and ask yourself always, even if you're only doing Team Cup, it's going to seem like, well, I actually only have to do it for 4 weeks. No, you need to look at the pace that you're setting this month and ask yourself, can I do this for the next 6 months? A lot of us, we're like, do you know what, we're coming up to the end of the month, like I can lose a little bit of sleep, I can maybe skip some meals or whatever, like you go to that like balls to the wall all in, and it's not sustainable. So we really want to make sure that we're asking ourselves if we can do this for 6 months, because if the answer is no, we need to make a shift. We need to ask if it's sustainable considering life's ups and downs. Maybe right now things are going great. Like if you have kids, maybe your kids aren't teething, maybe they've slept through the night every night for the last week. It's summer months, so a lot of us don't have kids in activities. Like maybe you're on vacation yourself, you just got back from vacation and you feel great. You're up here and you're like, I can do all the things. And you probably can. And the things that you're doing are a lot more up here. But next month when the kids go back to school, or next week when the kids decide to go through a sleep regression, or whatever the things are that happen in our lives, we're not going to be able to sustain like what we set up here, because we tend to shift our entire business up here. We don't just like up level one little aspect. We go all the things, we're nailing it. And it feels really good. And that's why we want to keep doing it, right? But we really need to be bringing it down so that it's sustainable no matter what we're doing, no matter what we're going through. We want to be asking ourselves, does this work ignite passion and purpose? Or does it just feel like a means to an end? Like, do you feel like you're just going through the motions and like you're just trying to hit Success Club because that's the thing that we're supposed to do? And like maybe you're just trying to get coaches signed up because you know that that's what produces volume? Or are you running boot camps that have you so fired up that you're like, I get to provide this for people. This is going to change lives. That's the feeling that we want. That is what is going to keep us going, even when things are hard. That's what's going to keep us going, even if we only have 3 out of 20 people sign up. That's the bit that keeps us going no matter what, like day in, day out, having that passion and fire, because you know that it is going to also hit home for somebody else. And it doesn't matter how many people that is. We want to make sure that we stop and ask ourselves, we all know what it's like behind Instagram. We all know what it's like on the other side of the screen. We know what Instagram does or does not see. If someone spent a month with you and did the things that you are doing now, and you didn't have to like put on your game face like a lot of us do. Like if you spend a weekend with someone, you could probably like bullshit your way and pretend that you're living on Instagram for 48 hours. But if somebody spent a month with you, like what would they see? What are the actual results that they would see from putting in the work that you yourself actually do in a month? Because being able to reflect on that work that we put in, whether it's consistent or inconsistent, can be a really big game changer for us to realize, do you know what? Like, I'm trying to get people to join a team and I'm telling them that I'm going to help set them up for success, but I'm not even doing it. Like, could I actually make that impact? And then we get that imposter syndrome setting in. So make sure that you're checking in with yourself and you're asking like, okay, can I do this long term? And is this something that I would recommend somebody else to do? Because a lot of us probably have some things on our plate that we're like, this is what I do, but I don't recommend you doing it. You need to also stop that. And this last one is the most important, whether you have kids or a significant other, or sometimes even just a roommate. Does anybody else in your household know, understand, and support your current goals? Communication is everything. Being able to share with your loved ones what your vision is. Do they understand why your goals are important? Do they understand what the work is that you're putting in? Do they know what it is, or do they just see you on your phone on the couch? Being able to communicate with them to say, hey, I have a few calls this week. I'm going to need you to pick up a few pieces around the house, or whatever it is. Just letting them know that this is what's going to happen goes a long way, because for a lot of us, this business is kind of our end game, right? This is what we want to do full time. So when we're starting, we have that vision in mind, but sometimes our significant other just thinks that like, it's this some side thing that's going to like go away in another month or two. It's a fad, like whatever. Make sure that your family members and those around you know what your goals and intentions are. And it's great because then they can help keep you accountable. If I have a night where I'm just like, it's really nice out. Like I would actually just rather sit on the deck. I don't drink anymore, but if I wanted to sit on the deck and have a beer, and Dan would be like, no, you said you were going to do a power hour tonight. Like, why don't you go do at least 30 instead of an hour? And that's better than nothing. So make sure that you have people around you that can help keep you accountable, but also understand the value and the time that you're pouring in. And that brings us to our business pillars. If anybody have 2/3 of you are following me on Instagram right now, so you know what's up. You know I'm building a program specifically around 5 pillars to help us create a thriving life. I have 6 pillars to help us create sustainable businesses. And I know that some of them, we hear it every time, every national wake-up call, every time a top coach gets on, every time you look at the Success Club tracker. We're fucking tired of hearing it. But for 7 weeks, I have been writing my mission statement every single morning. And it is something that when I wake up in the morning, it's the first thing that goes through my head. And that's what's getting me out of bed in the morning. Having that powerful mission statement. Like, what is your purpose? What is the thing that you want to do in this life to create an impact in the world around you? Mine is not going to be yours. I can share it with you and it can maybe inspire you to kind of give you an idea, but you can also Google how to create a mission statement. I'm hoping that some of the practices we're going to do tonight can help you build that. Your mission statement can start with a single solitary goal. Like, what is the one thing that you want to achieve with this business? For me, it's to create and maintain a positive environment that fosters personal growth, builds confidence, and empowers you to go from surviving to thriving. That took me 3 weeks to build it up to all of those pieces. And it took a bit to find like the wording that felt aligned with me. So it is not going to be pretty and perfect. Maybe it will the first time you write it down. Maybe like you just need to put pen to paper and your truth just pours out. But have that mission statement, put it on, I have it on a poster board that I want to make a vision board with the kids. Actually, I want them to help me cut out magazines and put that up because I want them to be helping create that vision in our life. But write that mission statement every single day. Read it every single day. Put it on your phone, wherever it is. You need to remember what it is you are doing with this business, because it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. You need to find passion and purpose in this, and that mission statement is yours to the core. So make sure you create that. If you need help with it, please reach out. I'm very wordy. I love words. So I'm happy to help anybody work through that. That's something that's easy for us to do every single day. On the shittiest of days, at the very least, wake up and write out your mission statement, like non-negotiable. That needs to be in there. Second, we want to have our vision. A lot of us, me included, don't want to write out our vision every single time, because I really prefer to be in a completely inspired space with like music going and someone's giving me some journal prompts and whatever. Like, I really need the juices flowing to write my vision out. I personally prefer to just read my vision every day, sitting down and picking out the words in there, like picking up on one of the pieces in my vision is having the time and financial freedom to let my kids pursue their passions, because that's not something that a lot of us were gifted, right? We had to bust our ass to be able to put in this work, to be able to find the things that light us up. Like, how many kids don't have the opportunity to participate in all of the sports? You get to choose one, and like, I hope you like it because you're in it for the season to be paid for it, right? I want to be able to provide that for my kids, the freedom to go, do you know what? Like, this isn't for me, but I love this. And I don't want to tell my daughter, like, I'm sorry, but skating dresses are too expensive. So you can go to practice, but not all the shows. I want them to be able to do that, right? That's something that holds deep meaning to me. And on the days that I don't want to show up, I am damn sure guarantee you that I can show up for them. So your vision is key. You don't need to write it every single day if you don't want to. If you're somebody like me, mine's like 2 to 3 pages long. Read it every single morning. Even if at bare bones minimum, all you do is flip it open and read one line. That vision is powerful to keep you going. So you want to read your mission, or you want to write out your mission. You want to read your vision. We need to grow. Our growth game needs to be the strongest thing about us. All of us, we have a pretty easy time showing up for our workouts. I think that it's pretty cool to see the growth gains coming in there, but especially in the hardest seasons, we need to be growing. It just looks different. On a good day, my growth work is all business related. I'm reading High Performance Habits by Brendon Burchard. I'm listening to Brendan and Josh and Mark Hildebrand. I'm listening to all of their business oriented podcasts. I am reading $100 million offers because I'm in a headspace that can allow me that level of growth. But on a grief day, I am working on moving through those emotions, and I don't just like ride it out. I listen to podcasts with positive affirmations to help keep me grounded. I specifically lean into grief work. I read Brené Brown. I actually lent the book to Jodine now, but I had a book from a psychiatrist that talked about like moving through different emotions. Every single day, 10 to 15 minutes of personal development, no matter what, non-negotiable. The day that my mother-in-law passed, podcast. You need something that keeps you rooted in your routine and keeps you moving forward, because those really hard days are what are going to create the impact that you are able to then pay forward, right? It's when we come through our struggles that people go, what's she doing? I need that in my life. I just went through something similar, and that's not what I look like right now. Like, that's not how I'm moving through life. They're going to come to you and they're going to say, how did you get through this? And you don't want to tell them, I don't know, I slept and I ate for 3 days and like, here I am back at the shit. Like, no, you want to be able to tell them, this is the book that I read. Being able to share grief resources with other people was not something that was on my business plan this year, but that's been a big thing for me, right? So keep your growth game so very strong. 10 to 15 minutes every day, non-negotiable, whether it's a podcast, an audiobook, reading, journaling, anything that keeps your mind right. Niche. This one is kind of, everybody really struggles finding their niche market. They're like, I don't know who my people are. Trust me, if you can do your vision, mission, and growth like repeatedly, after a couple of weeks, it's going to be really easy to narrow down who your people are. But also, you want to make sure that you're serving a community that lights you up. What community do you want to be a part of? Because for me, when I first started, I love sledding, but I was like, well, who am I? Like, I like going out. I can kind of keep up to my husband. I'm pretty strong, like when I first started, and those were the head voices for me. And it wasn't until I started just embracing that that's who I want to be, and these are the people I want to surround myself with. And now I'm flourishing, and I'm surrounded by women that I want to spend time with. People that I continue to say women because that's my niche market. Everybody tells me you're cutting out 50% of the consumer market. Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. There's male coaches out there. There are people that can serve the male market. It's not me. I'm not that person. So it's okay. And you get to put that in. If you only want to work with other people that are going through divorces, if you only want to work with other young moms, you can do that. It doesn't mean that like you're going to turn somebody away if they come to you. Like, maybe somebody just loves you so much that they're like, I don't even care, I just want what you have. You can still bring them in. I have a pretty mixed bag in my group, but when I see massive success, it's because I'm connecting with the people that I thoroughly enjoy connecting with. And when you thoroughly enjoy connecting with those people, it's really easy to invite them to something that's changed your life. It's really easy to invite them to something that could change their life. And then we want to have our main three. So our main three are kind of the topics that we feel we kind of, what is the word? It's not coming to my mouth. They're like the three main things that we teach. That's not the word. I had a better word, but it's not coming. We have three main things that we teach. So you don't want to say things like fitness, nutrition, and routines. Those all kind of go into the same routines, right? Within routines, we have a fitness routine. We have a routine with like meal prep and meal planning and stuff like that. Maybe you teach mindset. And then like, what falls underneath mindset for you? Maybe it's personal development. That's a subcategory within those categories. So we want those three main things that if somebody comes to us and they're like, well, what sets you apart from everybody else? And you say, well, I've hammered these three things down like pretty great. And I've got quite a few resources under each one. And this is how I would love to share that with you. And the really cool part about narrowing it down to three is, number one, you get to kind of pick apart like, okay, well, what does set me apart from everybody else? You don't have to be a master of routines to be a health and fitness coach. Just because somebody else is rocking that over there doesn't mean that's your sweet spot. Like, that's okay. Maybe you teach something else. And I can't pull shit out of thin air like Josh. I got nothing for examples for you there, but find the main three things that you teach. And then what you want to do, so you want to write them on the top of a piece of paper, and then underneath each one, you just write down every word that comes to mind when you think about it. So for me, it was, where's my book? I feel like this is one that's best to kind of share a little bit more specific, because the impact that it creates, this is going to really help with your content creation, but it also really helps you to know what exactly it is you're offering clients so that you can feel confident helping them. So for me, my three within like my client base is mindset, community, and routines. And underneath mindset, I have affirmations, reading personal development, podcasts, journaling, gratitude, counselor, self-love, reflection. Under community, I have connection, belonging, alignment, encouragement, accountability, vulnerability, networking, motivation, borrowing belief, energy. Under routines, I have consistency, flexibility, and discipline. What works for you? Workouts, meal prep, grocery shop, adopt and overcome, becoming relentless, growth. So you can see how it's very easy. Like, just because you pick three things doesn't mean like you're only talking about the same three things every week. But it gives you three main themes. Themes was the word that I was looking for. gives you three main themes so that you have an idea of what it is you're offering. It creates consistency when you're posting. So your clients have an idea like, oh, this is the person I come to when I want to make this kind of change. For example, I had a client the other day tell me that, or I had a follower tell me that she signed up with somebody else. And I was scrolling back through our conversations and I couldn't pinpoint why she decided to join somebody else and not me. And I asked her, I said, I'm really working on gaining perspective right now. Everybody answers you when you tell them that you want their perspective. I asked her, I said, like, is there a reason that you went with her over me? And she said, well, just her profile was a lot more about like body positivity and yours was a lot more like get up and get shit done. And that's great. It's just not where I'm at. And it makes it a lot easier to accept the no's when you know what? I'm not for everybody because this is my wheelhouse over here. These are the three things that like I could teach to anybody on any day, anytime. You are confident in what you are offering and you understand that it's not going to be for everybody. So it gives you your content. It makes it easier to invite. And I highly recommend having those three. Those are the basic things that you are going to make sure that you're committing to while you're moving through your business. That's how you can create your content in your group, how you can create your email list, and how you can kind of base your invites around as well, because you're able to say, this is what I'm offering. And impact. So with our impact, this is a really big one. A lot of us in the shittiest of seasons question, I'm sorry, I curse a lot, sorry, but we question our value and our worth and why are we even doing this? What's the point? Am I even making a difference? Like, why am I spending this time away from my kids? We question everything we're doing because we forget the impact we're making on the world. So we need to make sure that we're keeping a book of proof, which is another thing that the top coaches keep telling us to do. And we're like, oh, yeah. Every single day. If you don't already have somebody in your DMs telling you how amazing you are, how you changed their life, if somebody doesn't share a post in your BOD group or in your Facebook group that screams, you made a difference today, I want you to go to your 3 newest clients and ask them for testimonials, because they will so quickly tell you everything you are doing right. And they might recommend like something that you're doing wrong, and then that gives you a direction moving forward, and you can realize that like you can make a bigger impact then. Don't always take it personally. It's room for growth. Look at the growth. All right, we're okay there. We want to keep that, whether you write it down or some of us take screenshots, share them to our stories, and you can like highlight it into a testimonial highlight. 1 second. I can yell at the kids now. TV is loud. We want to make sure that we stay aligned with that impact. At the end of the day, that is going to be the biggest thing that keeps you around, because we're going to go through ups and downs. We had, as a network marketing company, we had such a large dip overall in one season that it actually started to ripple out. Because so Josh Coates is the guy I'm doing my trainings with, and he was talking about how he had a period in his business where he was like, I am doing something wrong. Like, what is it? I don't know what I'm missing. Something changed, because his sales just gone. And it took him a month and a half to realize most of his client base is Beachbody. He's just like, he's in here like a dirty shirt with all of us. And it took a month and a half for him to realize that it wasn't anything he was doing wrong. It was a problem within our company. We as a whole were seeing a dip, and that rippled out. So sometimes we don't realize that people are telling us no because it's been however long since the last market crash, or mortgage rates went up and people can hardly afford to pay their houses, or gas rates went up and people can't afford general living. But when people tell us that they can't afford it, we're like, fuck, everybody's telling me they can't afford it. And we forget to look at, maybe they can't. We don't want to let that get us down. we don't want to make that question our worth. If you can remember your mission and align with your vision and see every single day the impact that you are making, it's really easy to keep showing up. It's really easy to ride those lows, because at the end of the day, that's all you have to do. You have to keep moving forward. You have to ride the lows, because they're going to happen. They happen to all of us. I had 2 consecutively high checks at the end of June and beginning of July, and then I had a whopping $31. And that would have been really easy to go, wow, look at that. Nothing has changed. Like, I had some great luck and whatever, like right back to nothing. But I know the impact that I'm making, and I don't frankly care how up and down it goes. When I'm doing it full time, I might care a little bit more, but for now, aligning with that impact, knowing the difference that you are making, and getting those testimonials regularly. So every day we want to write our mission statement. We want to at least read a portion of our vision, 10 to 15 minutes of personal development. We want to know our niche, and we want to connect with those people. Leaning into community really is the biggest thing that helps align us again, whether that's leaning into whatever your social media space is with those specific people, or just your bod group or your coaching team, whatever it is. Connect with your people. Align with your main 3. Sit down and read what it is that you are offering, and find a way to put that out into the world today, even just from one of the pillars. These are non-negotiable. And then our impact. Read your book of proof. If you don't have anything new to add to it today, reach out to some of your newest customers and ask for testimonials. And I think that if you can maintain these 6 things on even like bite-sized little pieces of all 6 every single day, even on the hard days, you're gonna see growth. Obviously, we take Sundays off. I think that's like unanimous. We all still have a day of the week that we're like, bye. But you can even take half an hour in the morning to just sit down, write out your mission, read your vision, listen to a podcast. You still, like, you showed up and you did the work. A lot of us are so worried that we haven't done the Success Club tracker, and like, I can't do all the things, so what's the point? We have to remember what the point is and put in an effort to do even the most basic activities, because that is what keeps us aligned with why this is important to keep going. So I wanted to share, we're going to dig deep a little bit. Not super deep, it's only 2 questions, but I want you guys, you can share it in the chat or just write it out, or wherever you're going to do this. I'll have the recording, so if you don't have pen and paper, you can always go back through and watch this again as well. But what are some common scheduling conflicts you face? So do you find that team call every Monday night is a struggle? Like, you're like just shuffling everything around to make it happen? Do you find that power hours are difficult? Do you find it difficult to check in with your clients because you're just like always juggling all of the things? What do you feel is the most common scheduling conflict that you face with your business?
My kids won't scream. Probably power hours, I would say. Just because I have no energy. So that's been a fun thing.
I feel like as far as scheduling conflicts goes with power hours, it's more that you're on an ebb and flow schedule.
Mm-hmm.
A lot
Where
more
I'm
like
very routine. I'm used to like a schedule, and I'm finding this like find the time when you find the time thing is just not working for me.
So I think that I actually removed this other question, but this is a great one for you. When is your best energy in the day? I think we've talked about this, but
Hold up. Sorry.
that's okay. We talked about this on our vacation. I know that hers is first thing in the morning. So we have to use that to our advantage, right? It's the same thing. If you know that Monday night team call is just like more work than it's worth for you, find something else. So Find somebody that wants to get up and do a power hour first thing in the morning. Find somebody that does team call on a different night. We have access to an entire network of coaches. You can find somebody else. Like, I love getting to work with you all, because you're all my people. But if this is like pulling teeth for you to make it to, I want it to be enjoyable, not a nightmare. There are calls that happen a few hours earlier than this, which I can never make because I'm driving home from work. That's why we do this at 7:30, because I said I can't make it to anybody else's. So I took the reins into my own hands and I made my own team call, and here we are. So find a way to make it. Take that conflict and find a solution. We want to be able to find some way to work around that.
Works for me. I'm not a morning person. I have a 6-month-old baby, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, and that's one thing that Josh shared about too. He was like, fuck the 5 a.m. club. Like, if you're not a morning person, you're not a morning person.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, like, you and Jodine it might be great for you guys to be like, hey, baby's napping. Is your baby napping? Let's hop on and work 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Having that accountability buddy, somebody that's on a similar page in a similar season, is huge. I can rely on Sam because she's not working and my schedule is mayhem. So she's more like, she's the one that I can message and be like, hey, I'm off. Whereas like Amy also has a full-time job and Jodine has toddlers, and it's a lot more like me trying to jive with them is not the same. And that doesn't, that like, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to work with any one person. Like, you don't even have to work within the team. If somebody else is following you on Instagram and they're like, I would love to work beside you, sure, find a success partner. That's the biggest thing. And then I want to ask everybody, Jordan, you're brand new, so this isn't going to apply to you, but are you seeing the results that you want to see in your business? Not the results that somebody else told you that you should be seeing, not the results that I'm seeing, or Jodine, or Sam, or Terry Ann, or anybody that's watching this recording. What are the results that you want to see, and are you seeing them?
I would say, if I removed my ego, that I'm pretty damn happy that I'm like still even just showing up. I'm just like, I have ebbs and flows where I'm like, wow, I'm not where I want to be, but also I'm still showing up, and that is a freaking win for me at this moment.
Yeah.
That's the same for me. Just showing up. Just showing up every day. I'm not where I want to be, but it's fine.
So consistent on your stories and your reels and your posting, Terry Ann, though, and that's the biggest thing. I feel if you aren't like completely ghosted from social media for months and months and months, that's amazing, because you're saying that your business center is open.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm happy about right now. It's just my posting and consistent about that.
So that's an important thing. So this is a point for us to reflect on as well. And that this is kind of why I wanted to bring this question up, is because sometimes we're upset that we're not seeing like certain numbers in our bank account. But then when we look at the work we're putting in, like, you can't expect full-time coaching income from hobby level efforts, right? So we just want to make sure that we're always assessing, like, okay, am I seeing the results that I want to see? Yes or no? And then ask yourself, am I taking the actions that would produce those results? Yes or no? And like both Terry Ann and Jodine, like you guys said, you're in a season where right now you're happy with maintenance, maintaining, keep your current customers happy, keep showing up on social. If somebody wants to join, cool, that's awesome. But also just knowing that we have to expect that our income is going to reflect that. And that's part of riding out the ups and downs for us too, right? Because we're going to have months where we just have to be on like survival mode. We're just maintaining our own personal well-being. And we just have to remember that unless you have like a 5-star diamond team and you have team producing volume underneath you, like, that income is going to ebb and flow. So if you don't feel like you're seeing the results you want to see, sit down and look at the work that you're putting in. This is where I find the Success Club tracker is helpful, not necessarily because I think that every single thing needs to be done every single day. I think that everybody works it different depending on what results you want to see. It can be beneficial to use it to look back and see, okay, I'm not seeing the results I want to see. What am I missing? If you can go back and have like a paper trail that tells you, okay, well, you haven't invited for 3 weeks, so that might be why nobody's signed up, right? Because sometimes time just flies by and you're like, why is nobody signing up? Like, didn't I just send a cart? And then you look back and it's like, oh no, fuck, it's August already, guys. It's August 1st. I don't know where July went, right? Or sometimes you're like, man, I cannot get out of this funk. And you look back and you're like, I haven't done personal development all week. That would be it. So if you're not seeing the results that you want to see, use those tools to be able to help kind of like reassess and reflect and keep yourself on the path that you want to be on. Remember that when we say yes to one thing, we are saying no to something else. And sometimes we are saying yes to challenges that we don't have the time and space for. I really thoroughly respect both mine and Jodine's team for it setting the boundary and saying no to Team Cup, because in all honesty, as much as I would love to see everybody like rah rah rah, it's so fun to do everything together and the challenges, and I'm very competitive, so you can imagine the excitement that comes when we do things like this. But I am so very proud of everybody for recognizing that they are in a season where they are not prepared to just say yes all month long. I am so like, if anything, I know that we're doing something right because we have shown you ladies that it is okay to say no. Because there are a lot of people running this business that feel like they just have to keep saying yes, and then they burn out and then they leave, and then they're the ones on social media bashing the shit out of the company, out of network marketing, out of MLMs. You ladies, I really like to think are not going to be the ones that do that. That there will not be hard feelings, because we have created a space where you feel comfortable and confident in saying no and setting boundaries. And on the flip side, like, we do just have to remember also that when we say no to something, we're saying yes to something else. So you guys said no to Team Cup, but you said yes to your own personal well-being. So it's fine that you missed out on the challenge. It doesn't mean that you can't hit Success Club this month. You absolutely, like, maybe you still sign up 3 people, but because you didn't have the pressure on you, you're probably more likely to hit it. And then it's just cool. You signed up your 3 people and you didn't have this pressure above yourself to be keeping up with the chat thread that's like buzzing daily and doing these challenges and doing these check-ins and blah, 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 blah. So I just wanted to share with you guys that I am so very proud that everybody was comfortable with saying no to something. On that note, we need some not to-do lists, because we all have a bunch of to-do lists and enough on our not to-do list. So what we want to do here, a lot of us can very easily start to feel overwhelmed and feel like we are spinning our wheels because we're doing all the things and we're not getting anywhere. And what we need to do is we need to narrow down. This is where the Success Club tracker, and I beg to differ, you need 4 tasks that you need to do daily to keep the needle moving forward. Just 4. And I'm not going to tell you what those 4 things are. I want you to define what those 4 things are, because maybe for you, you spend 45 minutes on a post or an hour on a reel, and really, are they moving your business forward? Those are the only ones that I'm going to be like, assess what you're doing here. It like just comes out and it's fun and it produces some engagement and whatever. Like, that should probably be one of your ones that like stays in there daily. But we need to have some things that we have listed. We want an even list. We want 4 tasks that we're going to do every single day, whatever that is. Maybe it's workout, personal development, connect with your clients. Highly recommend that one be on there. Whatever it is, because checking in with your clients, believe it or not, is still moving the needle forward. You need great customer service and positive feedback from your current clients to maintain them, to get referrals, and to build that book of proof, right? If we have clients that have been around for 2 years, must be doing something right. So make sure that you have that list of 4 things that you want to do and 4 things that you need to stop doing. And they're not 4 things that you like can't ever do. Like maybe you stay home with a sick kid and they're napping and you have an extra 2 hours that you're blissfully gifted in a day. Spend some time on Canva, make a few reels, whatever. But they do not need to be the things that, I'm guilty of this, they do not need to be the things that you are trying to do on your phone while you're walking down the parkade stairs into work because you were just trying to get one more thing done. We need to have things that we need to call ourselves out on and say, do you know what? Today, this is not important. And this can be a daily thing as well. The other day on Friday, I had to just get some stuff done so that I could unplug for 24 hours. And I needed to sit down and ask myself, okay, what does not contribute today to me taking 24 hours off? One of them was a post, because what do I need to put up a new post for if I'm not even going to be around to see who commented or liked on it, right? We don't need to put up polls in our stories if we know that we intend on taking the next 24 hours off, because you're not even going to see who clicked the poll. So sitting down daily to make those not to do lists, I think really is key. And this is your business. Do what you want with it. Don't ever forget that we work, Beachbody pays us. You have total creative freedom. Take everything. If there's anything that you get from this call tonight, take everything with a grain of salt. When you listen to the National Wake Up Call, please, for the love of God, do not sit down and write out every single thing that they do and then spend the week trying to implement whatever that coach said that they do, and then get to next week and then write out everything that they do and then spend the next week trying to do their shit. You are not them. I am not you. You are not me. Like, we are all operating on very different levels, offering very different services. We are all unique human beings, and we are trying to create unique businesses. And that is why we are running our own business. And some of us are trying to leave corporate jobs where we're told what to do day in and day out. You get to do what you want. Maybe when you listen to the National Wake Up Call, one little line just like stands out. You're like, huh, I'd really like to do that. I really like that. I don't even remember what wake up call I listened to or if it was a training or what on time blocking, but holy balls, did that change my life. That was the like most random thing that stood out, but I was like, I need that. That is the thing that I need. And it has worked for me for almost 2 whole years now. So you're not going to do every single thing that Danielle Natoni or Micah Folsom or Moira Kusaba, like you're not going to do all the things that everybody does. It's gonna take some like ebb and flow. You're probably gonna be like, yeah, I like the sounds of that. I want to do that. And you're gonna try it. And then after a month, you're gonna be like, I cannot get the hang of this. And that's okay. Maybe it just doesn't work for you. Maybe it doesn't work for your niche market, or maybe it doesn't work for like your 3 pillars, or maybe you're just not talented in that department, because we're all going to have things that we just can't do, and that's okay. But I really hope that everybody can remember that when you listen to these trainings, when you listen to the wake up calls, when you listen to the power hours, like, this is not a template. It should be a template, like a blank slate. It should be fill in the blanks. It should be journal prompts that ask you, what do you want this to be? What do you want this to look like? They should be open-ended questions, not this is what I did, that's what you should do. If you want to see success, these are the things that you should do. And just watch for that. Watch for anybody that tells you like, this is how you're going to see success, because it's probably how they seen success, and that's awesome for them. But I don't know. Just don't forget that it's your business. That was a lot. Normally I don't talk for this long. Normally I lose the wind in my sails after half an hour. And so I appreciate your time. I'm going to stop recording because nobody else needs to listen to. I never know how to do this when I'm screen sharing. It's not sharing. And to think I'm going to run